Right here it is in my formerly nicotine-stained fingers. I mentioned this, so rather than tease you with it and wait, I mentioned this. It's an AP story, and it's about the class of 16, the class of 2016. And it's just a reminder of how things change and how your kids, because I don't have any, your kids and grandkids are in some ways having a growing up experience that is entirely different from ours. Now, how many of you had an entirely different growing up experience than your parents? Let's go through some of this, and you can better, I think, answer the question. And there's nothing to stop this. I mean, it's not my point here. No way of changing this. This is about societal evolution. But I think when I ran through it and started thinking about this Aiken business, it's more important than ever that we save this country, because we need to save it for people who have no idea it's in trouble. We need to save it for young people who have no idea that it is in any threatened state whatsoever. And if there's ever a role for adults to play, it is to protect and guarantee for their kids that which they sought for themselves. And what we're talking about here is preserving liberty and freedom, from which everything else in this country sprang. Remember when suitcases had to be carried instead of rolled, or when an airline ticket was a booklet of pages separated by carbon paper. Maybe you remember when Lou Gehrig held the major league record for consecutive baseball games played. This year's college freshmen don't. They never lived in a world where Kurt Cobain was alive. They never lived when an NFL team played its home games in Los Angeles. The class of 2016... It says here, I don't believe this part, it says there's no need for radios, no need for watches, no need for television, except on the internet. They are addicted to electronic narcotics. They watch TV, but not on TV. They don't have watches, they use their phones to tell them what time it is. These are among the 75 references in this year's Beloit College Mindset List. It's a non-scientific compilation meant to remind teachers that college freshmen born mostly in 1994 see the world in a much different way. Now, the problem here is that we're supposed to bend to the way they see it, and that's the point of this. You know, tell the professors going to bend to the way, but that's really not what ought to happen. The students are accustomed to seeing women in positions of leadership. I must confess, when I was growing up, there wasn't any of that other than at home, where mom ran the show, and most moms did. So while they might say here that these students are accustomed to seeing women in position of leadership, so did I, although not in a business. It started to change during my life, but I wasn't born to that, for example. They were born at a time when Madeleine Albright was serving as the first female U.S. Secretary of State, and women have held that position for most of their lives. The old Hollywood stereotype of ditzy blonde woman has given way to one of dumb and dumber guys. That's true. That's true. The genuine idiots in the world today are guys. Lazy, dumb, predatory guys. The only people who care about anything, the only people that are responsible are women. And it's true, our society has been chickified profoundly compared to when you and I grew up, folks. So it's what these kids are born to and what they see. And it goes on. I mean, you can make some assumptions from it as well. The theme of last year's list was how wired the incoming class was. This year's class includes students who might be better, or bitter, I should say, at the previous generation. While their elders went to college in good times and had jobs waiting for them, these students grew up watching their parents worry about unemployment and foreclosure. They're normal. They're normal. They grew up with economic tumult and chaos. So what's happening now is no big deal, other than they don't think they're going to be able to get a job when they get out of college, but they're still going to go to college. But that's okay because there's food stamps and there's other assistance. I wish I could continue here, but the constraints of the programming format mean that I have to stop.